After 2 months of repairs, I expected to get right back to work, but Lyft claimed I couldn't drive because my silver Honda Civic had been reported having bugs. That raised two issues. One, I was taken off the platform for car damage. Two, I have never owned a Honda Civic. I have a Toyota Camry, black. I took 4 months and emailing 20 different representatives because Lyft has no driver support line before they admitted my account had wrongly been associated with someone else's issue. I lost 4 months of income, and when I asked about compensation, they said it was their mistake but not their responsibility. This is why we need the ability to organize. This is not a side hustle for many of us. Thousands of Minnesotans drive full-time to support themselves and their families. For us, this is a career, and yet we have no protections, no transparency, and no way to advocate for ourselves when something goes wrong. At Fairview Riverside, I have seen what collective action can do, and when we speak together, we're heard. This bill doesn't just empower drivers, it also frees the legislature from having to step in every few years to mediate between billion-dollar corporations and working Minnesotans. It puts the responsibility where it belongs, in the hands of the drivers. I urge you to support this bill because no one should work full-time and still be powerless. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony. Mr. Casa?
Good morning, Senator and Chair Jen McEwen, honorable Senate members, fellow Uber and Lyft drivers, and all present. My name is David Casa, DAWIT, KASSA. I have lived in Minnesota for the past 13 years, currently in St. Paul. Since coming to America, I have spent most of my working life as an Uber and Lyft driver, with some time also spent working in banking. As a rideshare driver, I have experienced both the good and the very worst of what this job can bring, challenges that my fellow drivers and I, many of whom come from low-income backgrounds, have had to face without the power to challenge the decisions of billion-dollar corporations. Today, I stand before you to shed light on the real conditions we work under and the difficulties we face every day. Uber and Lyft drivers like myself live with constant uncertainty. Our ability to work, to provide for our families can be taken away at any moment with little to no explanation. These companies, which I refer to as the so-called Uber and Lyft, seem to operate with little accountability to any government body. They make decisions about our livelihood unilaterally. Many drivers are suddenly suspended or permanently deactivated based on unverified claims, often from a single rider, without any opportunity to present our side of the history. This creates intense stress and pressure, which ultimately affects public safety. Our job is to transport people safely, and I believe that when done responsibly, it is a job that deserves the same respect as other professions dedicated to protect lives like doctors. We have repeatedly asked for a fair review process. We want a professional office with trained staff who can evaluate individual cases, communicate clearly, and explain whether a driver has truly violated community guidelines or policies. And instead, we are often referred to people who have no understanding of our work and no authority to fairly resolve our issues. This is not only unprofessional, it's deeply disrespectful to the working class that help us generate enormous profits for these companies. Honorable Senators, for these reasons and many more I could not mention today due to time, we strongly support the creation of a Minnesota Uber and Lyft Drivers Union.
Thank you for your testimony.
You're welcome.
Mr. Abdikhani Ali, welcome to the Senate Labor Committee. And then after you, we have Mr. Mohassan Abubakar.
Hello, Chair and plenty members of. My name is Abdikhani. I live in Minnesota. I have been driving rideshare drivers for 7 years, and I'm here today to support of this bill to give up rights to form a union. For many years, we fought to make changes so rideshare drivers get higher pay. And you passed a law last year to help me get with that. But we are still facing big problems. We still need higher pay because we don't make enough. And right now, we sometimes have to wait as long as 19 days to get pay. That comes part of the bill you pass it. It's not right that we don't know when or how much we are going to be paid. But still we can agree that we don't want to have to keep coming to the capital to have work on this issue. If we had a union, we would be able to work directly with our employer. To make these changes, we would be able to get fair pay and now more clearly when we are getting paid. We will be able to address this issue we are still facing around being chance to able to vote on union. Please vote yes and please listen to the drivers so we can make these changes that can help make things better for both drivers and our passengers. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Mr. Abubakar?
Yeah. Good morning, honorable senators. My name is Mohassan Abubakar. I reside in Edina. I currently work as a driver for Uber and Lyft. Recently, I got a pickup from Uber. The customer was no show. After waiting, I called Uber to report. Was told by a gentleman that I should disregard the pickup. He informed me that because I had a good record, Uber was going to give me a bonus. He provided me with information from my Uber account, which only Uber will know. I was scammed $149.73 in the process. I informed Uber right away and was told that I was scammed. During the investigation, communication with Uber was poor and my earnings were frozen. I received payment only a few days ago because SEIU advocate on my behalf. We need a union to support our drivers. Please vote yes.
If you want to come on up. Welcome.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members. I'm Joel Carlson. I own a legal research and government affairs business here in St. Paul, and I represent Uber Technology and have since they entered the market in 2012. Happy to be before you today. I want to provide some brief comments about the law that you implemented last session, and also just some conceptual comments on the bill, of which Uber hasn't really formally taken a position on the bill, but we just have some comments about the bill, Madam Chair. So the law that you passed last year requiring minimum compensation, occupational accident insurance, and driver appeals for deactivations has been in place now about 5 months. That law includes the highest per minute and per mile rates and insurance components anywhere in the country. We've contracted with the Somali Community Services for the Driver Resource Center, and that's been in place about 4 months now to handle we've had significant issues with driver and their accounts being fraudulently captured by others. And so when you talk